Someone once said, if you don't, you know, if you don't get with your elders or your grandparents, you don't have anything to do with them. I really don't want to have anything to do with you. She is so real and she is so honest. We're going to be talking about what it means to be a mother of many. She is our guest. Welcome to Soulful Journey.
Soulful means something that's heartfelt, deep and profound. To journey means to travel from one place to another. This show is about deep and heartful discussions about where we are, where we're headed, and where we've been. It's a place where we highlight memorable moments we've had. This show is about everything and everyone that is good for the soul.
Welcome so much. So many technical difficulties this morning, but as they say, this afternoon and this evening, no, depending on when time you're tuning in, but we are here, and I guess will be joining me shortly. Mother of Many is our guest today, and I want you to know that my name is Venus Jones, if this is your first time watching, and I am the host of this show. I'm an author, educator, and poet, and right now, what I want you to know is that the Ankh represents life, and we're gonna. Every time I begin each show, I like to start with a poem that reminds me of the person. But what I want to do before that is I want to do what we always do too, is just take a deep breath. This show is for empaths and visionaries, and sometimes high achievers who have anxiety like myself. So if you haven't had a chance to take a deep breath today, let's do it together. Let's take a deep breath. Feel yourself breathing in and feel yourself breathing out without trying to control your pattern of breathing. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaw. And notice how every breath is different from the next. It is the same with life, ever changing, ever evolving. Whatever is going through your mind right now, you can let it slip away. And just for this moment, you can come back to harmony because you are safe, you are accepted, you are forgiven, and you are loved. So right now, what I want to do is I want to first give thanks for the challenge that I'm receiving right now from the universe, which is to keep the show going, but also make sure that my guest is here. I am like a one-woman show over here, you all. So if anybody wants to help me co-produce this show, please let me know. Holla at me. And if you love the show, I could definitely always use your help. My guest is having trouble getting back in, but that's when you know it's going to be powerful, right? You already know when you get two sister goddesses together, queens, it's going to be powerful. So sometimes things happen to ask, to make sure that we really want this, and we do want this. So I'm going to check back in with Mother of Many and see if she can get back in here. And give me a moment. And if you can hear me fine, please let me know in the chat. Give me a thumbs up. And let me know you're here. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Awesome. Thank you. I know we're broadcasting live in a few different places. Thank you, Steve. Steve is always here for me. Appreciate you. Okay. All right, I want to go back in with this poem. There she is. She's here. Yay, I can see her. And I want to just before I introduce her, I wanted to read you this poem that reminds me of her. And thank you all for your patience. We're going to be talking about transmutation today. So that's right on time, and surrender, because sometimes you have to surrender to the process, and things can, we're improvising in this life. Like things do go wrong sometimes. And that's how you know you're a champion. And that's how you know you're a survivor, when no matter what happens, you just keep going, and you can keep that smile on your face. And that's what this show is all about. But before I begin, I want to and I want to read you this poem called Missing Unk. I have some unks on. If you don't know what these are like original crosses, and the cross, the sword, and the cross and the sword are both shaped the same, right? Disconnected lines is a reflection of his circumcised pain. On a chain that's wrapped around his neck, he bears a cross. And it's missing the nurturing loop. The cord has been cut. Here lies a newborn, eyes frozen from too much estrogen loss. Some flags stay at half-mast in the divided states, where infants suffer from symptoms of a killer flu. And during the last election debate, stats regarding HIV and Blacks were given, and the financial response in 2002 was more shocking than the verbal, which was who knew. Little to nothing was done or said about blue-eyed children lying dead in all those bright and dark hallways. Never really listened to Marvin's song, never really cared about what's going on with brown-eyed girls or boys in the hood. Anyways, gangs bring down the grimy ghettos. A mother with 3 jobs bangs her head on the wall in search of green relief. Her son, gifted, lives with countless threats before a cop's bullet gives him peace. Well, let's travel to the Middle West. And what will we find? Sour milk spilled on a pink prom dress, black letters on yellow tape are blowing in the wind. And like the crusaders we charge in, to a schoolyard full of white chalk lines, little Joe's being tucked under his last sheet on Plantation Drive for the last time. Can you imagine a news team around little Keisha's body on MLK? Can you see the flash from the camera that confirms it's a little too late to pray? What is done in the dark will show up on the shore on his next trip to the lake. Every 60 seconds, a woman feels the heavy weight of rape. Is it a symbol of death, or is it a crime that I want you to see? If only the strong survive, what happens to me? And the 3 million meek, what happens to the poor and homeless children of the wealthiest weak? Some quote the book of Revelations and they scream of doomsday soon and very soon. Soon and very soon, we are going to see the King. That's what they say. But the meek will inherit the earth, what's left of it. And if so, when will the crooked or straight piper pay? The woman with her outstretched arm, she's slowly sinking into quicksand. And the king of the world is even hungry, but he's biting Mother Nature's hand. His brother's grumbling belly gives him no sense of satisfaction or relief. The king only drops a few more crumbs so they won't question the cause of their grief. He grants death more than life, seeks judgment more than heaven's grace. And it is the cross or the sword that he protects, and it scars his smirking face. He drinks the blood that drips and sleeps sound amongst the lowest in spirit. There are dead men walking, wearing masks that resemble the risen and the resilient. Again, this is a piece that I wrote called Missing Unk, and it's found in the book She Rose. And at the bottom of that poem, I wrote, our scientific power has outrun our spiritual power. We have guided missiles and misguided men. That's a quote by MLK. Well, there is one woman that I want you all to know. If you don't know, I want to introduce you to her. And if you haven't heard of her, you will know today. I'm going to remind you others and introduce some. But her name is Brittney. You know, that's the name her mother gave her. And Brittney is an island girl who was raised in Miami, Florida. She's an Afro-Indigenous history teacher and received her BA in Latin American Studies. She promotes organic skincare, therapy, and natural medicines for the body and spirit that heal skin ailments and improve your mental health. Well, without any further ado, I want to welcome you, Brittney, also known as Mother of Many. And here she is. She is a shero, and she is an Unk wearer. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful poem with us. It was absolutely amazing and powerful. I'm so grateful to be here, and thank you for that introduction.
You are so welcome. I mean, when I listened to you, I first fell in admiration of you when you were talking about forgiveness. And there's like a meme where you were talking about forgiveness and you were like, if you've done me wrong, I forgive you. Do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
If you lied on me, I forgive you. If you repeated the lie,
Believe the lie.
yes, come on, you already know your words, sis. Tell
Yes.
them.
Yes, if you did me wrong, I forgive you. If you lied on me, I forgive you. If you believed the lie, I forgive you. If you tried to take food out of my mouth, I forgive you. Thank you for showing me who you are.
That part.
Gratitude.
Well, I fell in love with you on that post because I felt like, wow, that's a whole nother level of surrender. And I want to talk about transmutation and surrender today. But man, we could do a whole nother session on forgiveness with you. You are just amazing the way you show up in the world. And I just wanted to honor you and let you know that I feel like you're so good for the soul. But when you were what prompted that post in the beginning, the one that first got me noticing you?
It was a very tough experience that I had to go through as a grown woman. I was betrayed by a group of people, and they all kind of like just fed each other, and I lost people that I cared about and people that I trusted over, just like gossip, and they were vindictive against me, and my grandfather passed at the same time. And so I feel like a lot of the times as a strong person, people just feel like you could take things, you know what I'm saying? Like people really don't take your emotions, or they don't honor your humanity, you know what I'm saying? Because they have a certain perception of what you can take. So it just came out of a tough time, and it was just interesting because despite the attacks on my character, me making that video that really just came from my heart, it went viral and I got like 1 million views off of it. So it's funny how God works when we talk about transmutation, right?
Well, I wanted to talk about transmutation because you want to talk about transmutation, and you had me looking up the word because and the funny thing is, when I first started looking it up, sis, I saw like these scientific videos. But then I started putting spiritual transformation in front of it, and I saw a little bit more closer to what I believe you're getting to. But what does transmutation mean to you?
So to me, transmutation is alchemy.
Yeah.
To me, transmutation is seeing the silver lining. For me, transmutation is, when bad things happen, being in gratitude, because it's that faith in knowing that everything is happening for our highest good. So it's being able to see God's plan for us in that moment of pain and weakness, right? And it's powering through those hard times, because I truly believe that the times where you feel like, you're breaking down, the times where, you know the hardest times, I feel like that's when we are strongest. Even if you're kicking and screaming and crying and praying and, you know what I'm saying, going through a breakdown, in reality, your ability to get through that hard time is actually evidence of your strength.
You know what? Oh, thank you for saying that, because you missed my whole, like, at the beginning of the show, I always like start with mindfulness and breath, sis. And I feel like this show started off almost like not as smooth as I would want it, but that's life, right? Like sometimes things
Mm-hmm.
happen, and like love how you said that, like it depends on how we react to it. And alchemy, right? Alchemy is part of that. When you tend to study it and helping you um move past things. So yes, there's a lot of difficult, dark things happening, things that might get somebody where they feel like they're going through hell. What can you tell me, what alchemy looks like though for you? Like, for example, has there been a time, because when I think of alchemy, first of all, I think of the book The
Right.
Alchemist, right? Paulo Coelho, if for those who don't know. Have you read that?
Mm-hmm.
You have. So
I've read it in pieces. I've caught little pieces. I mean, what alchemy has looked like in my life, I mean, there's been different times, whether we're talking about not having a father in my life and that making me a strong woman, whether we're talking about going to a predominantly white institution and studying, Black history, and being able to walk out of that empowered and more strategic. Um, or when my mother passed away, you know what I'm saying, that was like the hardest time in my life, and I had to still work. I had to still not just feed myself financially, but like spiritually, I had to fill that void, and taking everything that she taught me to be mother of many, and be the woman that I am now. um so I think it's about not being a victim, you know
mm,
not being stuck in a victimized mentality, and like I said, like seeing what is God teaching me out of this, like what's the lesson behind this for my elevation and advancement. Hmm.
indeed. And this show is really just about just that, wanting people to elevate and advance. And one thing that when I hear you speak, I'm just saying, like, it's so much passion, right? And uh I could tell that you really want your people to advance. You want all of humanity to advance and to
Hmm.
elevate. I hear it. I hear the conviction in your voice. And that's why I wanted you on the show, because I want to know, like, have you always had that? Like have you always had that kind of conviction? And when I pulled the card for you, because I know you all about pulling cards, so I have the cards. I pulled a card. You're gonna be think this is crazy, but
I don't.
it said it said Damara guiding children. That's the card that came up. That's the card that came up. I lied to you not. And it said, I'm gonna read it to you. It says, you are good at helping, counseling, and healing children. Use your skills to help children now. Now, this is a message from tomorrow. One can be gentle and a fierce protector simultaneously. Ooh, and that's what I see in you. You like a fierce protector, right? And it says, my vigilant focus on keeping harmony within household stems from my desire for children to maintain their youthful awe and sense of wonder. How else will we ensure that they'll see and speak with fairies? How else will we foster the continuation of children's healing, laughter? Join with me in guiding the children, and you'll see your own imagination sparked. These amazing young, and beside these amazing young beings, your own enthusiasm and youthful spirit attracts the children's respect and attention. It's so true. I'll lead you toward young people who can benefit your help. And the various meanings of this card is spend time with or have a heart-to-heart talk. I feel like that's what you're always doing, having heart-to-heart talks with your own children. And get into a career involved with helping kids. Volunteer with young people. Know that children will be coming into your life soon. You will be a parent. Take good care of your own inner child through play and laughter. So that's what came up.
That's
And I was like,
powerful.
wow.
I receive it. That's
So
divine.
wow. And just like Bob is watching it, and then I want to see what he says. Okay, Bob is, let me show his comment. It says, true alchemy lies in this formula. Your memory and your senses are but the nourishment of your creative impulse. That's Arthur Rimbaud. Okay. Okay. Your memory and your senses are but the nourishment of your creative impulse. So when we talk about memory then and senses, so we're going to bring Bob's thank you, Bob, for that. Let's bring his commentary into this conversation, because when I was thinking about alchemy too, I'm thinking about, it almost feels like, they say black girl magic, or they say like, oh, it's like magic. And I wanted you to tell me a time, because I feel like there's something very cosmic about your energy. And I wanted to say, as a time when you were given an unexpected blessing, or maybe like business or some transmutation happened in the, because of maybe did you chalk it up as surrender or transmutation because of something you did prior to that? Has that anything like that, or like a miraculous moment ever happened to you that you could tell us about, or you would be willing to?
I've had I've had very small instances, and then I've had very large instances, right? And sometimes the blessing doesn't seem like a blessing, right? So, for example, like I really believe in when we talk about alchemizing is your thoughts and what you say. So like prayer is a form of manifestation, right? It's calling things into existence. So I've literally sat there and, let's say with my company, like before I started vending in physical spaces, I'll just say out of my mouth, like, I just need somewhere I could sell in person. And an hour later, I will get a DM like, hey, we're having this event, do you want to vend? But this is coming from a space of like, I'm nervous and I'm scared and I want to find a solution, right? But even, like I said, like going to college or my mother's death, like I had no idea what I was doing. Becoming a woman, being a Dominican woman, being raised in Miami, where all you see is prostitution and drugs and alcohol and just the hypersexualization of brown bodies. You know what I'm saying? And really not having any real role models besides my own mother. That in itself was a blessing, because I'm growing up with low self-esteem. I'm growing up hating my body because I don't look a certain way, or like a woman, right? Because I didn't have a figure like that. And that within itself was a blessing, because once I was able to become educated, once I was able to teach, now I'm able to connect with so many women, so many young teenage girls, like being a high school teacher and talking to Black girls and talking to Hispanic girls and Caribbean girls, and letting them know, like, you are so much more than your body. We spend so much energy hating our vessel and investing into our physical vessel that we forget that we are a spirit. We forget that we have a purpose, that we have a family, you know? So I think just that, I think my entire life has been a constant transmutation of energy, and just like my life is itself is a blessing, even in my darkest times. Like, I feel like every bad thing that's happened to me, it sounds so corny, but it's more than a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's literally to connect with women all over the world, to express to them that not only are they not alone, but that we are extremely powerful because we bear that cross.
Yes. Yes. And you've said so much, because all right, you talk about the connections and the generations. I still remember I was watching one video, you're like, I don't mess with nobody. I tried to say that at the top of the hour. Like, I don't mess with nobody who don't mess with their elders. Do you remember me saying that?
Yes. Like,
and I was like, I didn't say the exact quote. But the point is, I love that you just raw. Sometimes you just give it to them raw. Sometimes the kids need that. They need that. And but when you say it so raw and so plain, that's what gravitates people to that authenticity and that transparency, and you have that. And I just want to, but if there was something, when it comes to marginalized people, empaths and healers and visionaries like yourself who might be watching the show, what do you feel like is urgent that we be doing right now?
Oh, Lord, building something other than our platform.
Tell me more.
I feel like every healer that I know right now, and the thing is, we're all healers. We're all medicine women. We're all mother of many. We're all Venuses. We are all creating and nurturing, and, we have this knowing. We talk about our senses, like our DNA. We have this ancestral knowledge, this divinity. Like, we have the ability to directly talk to God, and with the power of our mind, manifest what we want in an instant. And I feel that as melanated people, we need to, one, have knowledge of self, right? We need to have knowledge of self outside of the materialism, outside of capitalism, and I think that we need to build schools. Like, we need to build black markets. We need to build our own systems. We need to build banks. We need to build farms. I feel like I said, right now I feel that we don't trust each other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everyone kind of just self-serving, even when we look, and I don't want to name, there's a lot of men and women, that are highly educated, and they get a ton of donations. And in reality, it's like, dude, what are you doing with our money? What are you doing with our money?
Yeah.
You feel me? So I just feel like we need to create, more than anything, education programs. And I think that we need to create like conglomerate farms where we like come together and we buy land and we purchase real estate, and we teach our children how to build, you know what I'm saying, and feed ourselves. I feel like that's what's missing is action. Like, okay, we know everything. Like, how to talk to spirits. You know what I'm saying? You done did all the research. Your ancestry. You could read the future. Okay, well, let's do something.
Let's build.
Stop talking.
Let's build.
Right.
Let's build more
other than our
your platform. I heard you loud and clear. We're going to shake the maracas and hope somebody heard you in the back. Okay?
Okay.
Because I hear you. I hear you on that. And, there are some people who, I'm not going to say no names either, that have, when you didn't have to come on my show. Like, I know you have a lot of followers, right? But there are some people who get caught up in numbers and forget the mission, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to thank you for not being one of those kind of people who are caught up in status and not really caring about what's really real, which is our liberation. I'm talking total liberation of all our people. And so that's why it's real, and I just cannot thank you enough for being real and for just being so genuine. I've seen you pray on your platform just out of like just I've seen you but do it in a way that's not self-righteous or feeling like I don't know. I'm just a huge fan. I'm trying not to be like fanning out here, but
Listen, it's
but at
all
the
glory to
same time,
God.
it's that's what I see. You know how the song says in the diary, they say, you know, I don't know if you really knew, but I see God in you because you're really, really showing up in a divine way. On I don't follow everybody. And so it's like when I see you, I'm like so excited to see somebody just out here really doing it. So, and I know you're not perfect. I know we not none of us are, but I see you doing a lot of things that others are not doing. So I just want to say big ups to you for that. And that's for the schools. Yes, we do need more schools. We do need a lot more education. So can you tell us more about what you're doing and how can we support you? Like, what are you doing around education right now? Are you still working in this real schools? Or are you doing your own thing? And can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so I taught at my alma mater for 3 years. At Miami Northwestern Senior High School, I taught history, and it was the most rewarding job I ever had. I wouldn't even consider it a job. And you know, with the corona situation, I chose to leave the system. Um, right now, what I'm trying to do is besides like educating people when I talk on live and stuff, because I did study history. Um, I've been trying to like actually coordinate classes. So throughout the year, I'll just have like different classes that will talk about either like mental health or specifically like Black history. Um, the last class that I did was called Kemet class. So we talked about ancient Egypt, but we specifically talked about the biblical historical connection, right? Because not only does the Bible take place in Africa, right? But when we talk about Moses and Jesus, these were people that were modeled after Imhotep, and they were modeled after actual Nubian um uh advisors. You feel me? So when we talk about, you know, like the Jews being taken out of Egypt, right? The exodus out of Egypt, there's a historical background to that as to why a group of Semites were enslaved in Egypt and why we call Egypt the land of slavery, because the word Egypt means land of slavery. So why would Jews call Egypt the land of slavery when the word Kemet, which is the true name, means the land of Black people? So I'm trying to offer classes like that, um, just for the community, for whoever is interested. The Kemet class is on my website right now. It's a 3-hour class. So there's a lot of information in there, specifically to educate all people about the contributions of Black people, and just ancient Black people.
Do you believe that that's where you get your courage and your some of your conviction from, just knowing yourself and
A
knowing your
thousand
history?
percent. A
Yes.
thousand percent.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. And so that knowledge of self, going back to that, is so key. So I'm happy to hear that you're, you know, paying it forward. Who taught
Absolutely.
you though? Did
Um,
you teach yourself?
my first, I've had many great teachers. My first teacher, of course, was my mother. She was very lively and outspoken. She was, you know, I mean, she's a light skinned Caribbean woman, so she wasn't. There were some things that, you know, we butted heads on, you know. But I had teachers like Miss Tracy Young Byron in high school. She taught me a lot of morals and how to deal with men. Um, I had Dr. Gwendolyn Zohara Simmons in college. She's a Muslim woman who was a part of the civil rights, uh, you know, the civil rights legacy. And she was one of my professors in college. Um, and just studying history like as a college student, you're forced to read so many books. So I had great teachers, and then I had a lot of time just like sitting in a room with 30 books, and I had to read 30 books and write a 30-page paper. Um, so yeah, I spent a lot of times just like putting things together. I took one class that was specifically like European history, European Christian history, and learning about Christianity and how Christianity was co-opted and how Europeans look at history and the Crusades and like just questioning things. It's so important to question. Being the only brown girl in that class and being like, so you mean to tell me the Pope waged war on Muslim people and we just talk like we're just gonna keep we're just not gonna address that fact. This is normal, you know, and to understand that there's so many groups that have this information and I didn't have this information, it made me hungry.
Yeah.
You know, um, definitely. Frances Cress Welsing, amazing author, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. Yeah, I've had a lot of teachers.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. This is it's about that time where I have to ask you if you have like a show and tell item or something that that you have that you want to share with us that might have some meaning for you. You know, maybe it's something that, you know, has a cultural significance and or like a story behind it that you want to just tell us about.
I mean, I have so much to show you. I'm in my grandmother's house right now, so I could show you our altar. But I think that I just wanted to take this time to really just highlight the chemic class that I was able to put together. It's on my website, motherofmany.com. I'm not sure if I can really move the camera or switch the camera over, but this is what it looks like on my page. I don't know if it's if it's backwards, but it's just something. Yeah, it's just something that's taken me years to give birth to, and every single person that has taken this class has walked away feeling more empowered. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times as Black and brown people and as people breaking generational curses, we have to defend Black people a lot. And I feel like this just gives, it's just so much information and I just really want to get it out there to as many people as possible.
Do you have like a favorite game that you played when you was a kid?
I climb trees.
Okay. All right.
I climb trees. I play Barbies.
Okay. If you had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. If I had a theme song, I'd make my own theme song. I'd have to make my own beat and my own lyrics.
Hey, do it right now.
Yes, but I think one song that is really fire is Energy Budget by Tony Jones.
Okay.
Energy Budget. Definitely. Tony Jones. If you have never heard of Tony Jones, oh my goodness. Life-changing woman.
And that's Tony TOYNYJONES?
TONI Jones.
TONI?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes. Oh, you're gonna love her.
Okay.
Y'all gonna love her.
Energy. Yes. Okay. If anybody has any questions for Brittney, let us know in the chat. And we are going to now ask her. The other thing I wanted to ask her is this. Okay, so I have to ask you this. What makes you laugh on your social journey? What makes me laugh?
Oh my gosh.
On your social journey. Yes, what makes you laugh?
Oh my gosh. That's a good question.
Is there a quote, a person, or a joke that you return to?
Man, I think just natural goofiness. You know what I'm saying? When something's just like natural, when it's not forced. I don't know. I could feel it.
You don't have a favorite comedian? You just like situational humor, huh?
I just like situational humor. I think like the people in my life, my grandma makes me laugh.
Does she?
Like when my grandma, because my grandma sometimes like will say like little nasty things. Like I'll talk to her about my man and she'll talk to me about my grandfather. And it's just so funny because it's like inappropriate. And she's like a very Catholic woman. So I think like irony.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I could see that. Oh, wow. Okay. Is there a favorite gift that she's giving you that you can think of?
My grandmother gave me my great grandmother's pin.
Tell me
So
more about that.
yeah,
It's a
so it
pin
was.
that you wear or
I
you
don't
write
wear it.
with.
A pin. It's a pin that you wear, and it was silver. And it had like little fake diamonds on it, and I believe it said like Grace.
Mm.
And I had it for a while. And it was just beautiful that she, trusted me with that. But she also gave me the gift of my mother.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
she gives me the gift of nurture. My grandma takes really good care of me. So, just coming and her being like, what do you want to eat? And me telling her exactly what I want to eat and receiving it. That's the ultimate gift, I think.
Okay, because I was looking at your story, your Instagram story today, and it said something about it might have said something about your grandma's tears in the food.
No,
What
I
does that
said
mean?
grandma's habichuela. So habichuela means beans. So she made beans. So what I like, instead of rice and beans, I like beans with rice on the side. So just like a bowl of beans, and then you just add the rice as you go. And then I said tears of joy, like just landing here and just I don't know, just being here. It brings me so much joy. I was trying to contain myself, and having a home cooked meal by my grandmother, that's a luxury to me because I didn't really grow up with that growing up in the United States. So just deep gratitude for the way she loves me.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
indeed. I want to know how you identify yourself. Like I've heard you say I'm an alien, but I know you was probably just joking. But again, I don't, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have said like just because I love when you start getting into identity, the identity talk. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think we need to know about that? Like I want that to be said here. Like what, because so many people can get into identity politics, and I hear you on that. But how do you identify, and do you not want to identify for a specific reason, and why, in regards to like religion or spirituality, and dare I say race,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and why, and what?
So as an educated woman, right, I feel like I'm so many things that it's a disservice to myself to identify as anything. So that comes to my spirituality and my race, right? So for example, I'm Dominican. People don't see me as black in America. Not an African American person will not look at me and see a black woman, right? Even though I have black ancestry. I respect black people too much. I respect the I don't want to say the plight, but just the experiences of dark skinned women and dark skinned men. I respect it too much to ever identify as black. But then you'd have those people that if I, as a Dominican, say I'm not black, they're like, you don't want to be black. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, as a mixed race, and when I say mixed race, both of my parents are Dominican, right? I'm from the islands. I feel most comfortable identifying as a Caribbean person because I am very different than a girl from Colombia. We're very similar, but we might also have differences. I feel very tied to island culture, right?
Yeah.
Um, but again, I don't like to identify because I'm in the middle and I understand that I'm a mixture of all races. I'm indigenous, I am European, I'm African, I'm Asiatic. Um, and I know that it has taken all of us thousands of years and millions of years to be here. It's taken millions of ancestors for me to be here. So for me to identify as one thing, I think it's a disservice to myself. Spiritually, I also see it the same way. Where it's like I've studied Christianity, I've studied Islam, I've done the African traditions. So I just take the best and forget the rest. I take the best from Islam, I take the best from Christianity, I take the best from Ifa, and I incorporate it and I synchronize it into what makes sense for me today as a modern, whatever you want to call it. Um,
Right.
so it's complicated, but the way I see it is I'm everything. So in a way, I'm nothing, and I'm nothing. So in a way, I'm everything.
Well, to make the difference in the life of a child, I remember, Fred Rogers once said that that's what a hero is. So I feel like you're doing that all the time. But I mean, I need you to tell the story of how has your work changed or saved someone, and has anyone told you that, and what is that story about? Has anyone told you that?
Man, it's really
favorite
God. You know what I'm saying? It's really God, because like I don't know how to explain it, but I don't, because it's hard, because it's like it's hard. I was a teacher for 3 years. I had a lot of students that I was able to just give them history from the perspective of Black people, express to them, how the media affects their self-esteem, and, that they are powerful, and that their people come from the Bible, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
so if you want to save somebody, just tell them who they are.
Right.
And remind them who they are, is what you're telling me.
Right. Because even the word remind.
Okay.
Remind. I'm putting your mind back together. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of instances, and there's so many different things. There's so many, in one life, you touch so many different people that sometimes I get to see the fruit of it. When my student comes in, like, for example, I had students that, they're from Haitian descent, right? Mm-hmm. So they come to me and they don't even feel comfortable speaking English. And by the time they become a senior, they're getting the highest scores in the writing state exams. You feel me? Because I gave them not only the confidence, but I'm also giving them college material. I've had situations like that. I've had girls tell me, like, Miss Mejia, like, I used to bleach my skin. Like, I used to sit in the tub and scrub my skin and try to make myself light skinned. And because of you, I don't do that anymore. Like, I've had people DM me, like, what you said was real powerful. So it's different levels. But at the end of the day, all the glory is to God, because I'm just one of his instruments.
If you could play an instrument, which would it be?
The electric guitar or the drum.
Okay. Hey, I got you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All day. I wanted to ask you, this is a standard question that I ask everyone too, because I'm really curious if you have a favorite quote, and sometimes it could be a quote, it could be a word, an inscription that all right. If you had a headstone, if you had one, because I don't know what you want, but if you had a headstone, what would it say on it?
I think my headstone would be like, she gave it all she had. She gave it all she got.
Okay.
I didn't hold nothing back. I activated all my gifts. Or tried.
There it is. Okay. So I want to just really... I want to ask you this one too. I've never asked anyone this. What's your favorite flower?
My favorite flower would be like orange roses.
Why orange?
Orange was my mother's favorite color, and they're her favorite roses. So whenever I see orange roses, or those roses that's like orange and yellow and red, those colors, definitely, they just remind me of my mother.
Wow. Okay. So does anyone have any other questions in the chat for Mother of Many? How did you get that name?
So I gave that name to myself as a teacher. Just having so many students. Some of my students started calling me mom, and I'm like, I'm not your mom. But it was just like the energy and the relationship that I had with them. And my name on Instagram before that was Pressure and Prayer. So I was Pressure and Prayer. And then I just called myself Mother of Many because of my job. And then when I started my company, I named my company after my mom. It was called Alta's Organic Skincare. But then one day I was like, hold on, wait a minute, MOM. And I was like, oh my God, MOM. I didn't even know until I started my company. So,
hey, Transmutation.
It's all God.
There you go. Sometimes it comes like that. When was the last time you got chills? The last time I got chills was when you said yes, you would do this show. When was the last time you got chills?
Oh, the last time I got chills, I was having a conversation. I can't remember what the conversation was about, but it was something, it was just like a very spiritual conversation, and someone said something, and it was just like, that's crazy. It was just like, that's crazy. But I can't even tell you what it was.
Well, that happens.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to let go of one, hugs or kisses?
Oh my God.
I know that's not fair.
Hugs or kisses? Oh my God. Dang.
I know.
I think no. Dang. I'm leaning towards let go of hugs because I need them kisses. Right.
Oh.
And I can kiss you in different parts of your body.
Oh, well.
I could kiss your cheek. I could kiss your hand. I don't know. I
Let's
think
see.
I'm going to lean towards more kisses because I need them kisses to make babies.
Mother of many. On that note, there we go.
Just
Well, you know what? I hate that we don't have more time, but I'm gonna I know you are busy, and I just want to give thanks that you would come and just have fun with me and really talk about your journey and what a soulful one it is. And may it continue to be so full of so many beautiful things, so many kisses, and so many beautiful blessings coming your way. You deserve all of the good things, and I'm just so grateful for you. Is there
I'm grateful for you as well.
Yes,
So
because
grateful.
we neither one of us like boxes. I wrote a poem called "I Don't Like Boxes." I'll have to send it to you, but I really want you to continue to do what you're doing and keep representing love and light and life and can you tell them more about how they can again stay in touch with you and how might they do that in your social handles?
Definitely. So my Instagram is mother of many with 2 underscores. So it's what you see on the screen all together with 2 underscores at the end. My website is mother, the letter O, many.com, where you can have access to the class or my skincare therapies, as I like to call them. Um, and I just want to say, Venus, before we get out of here, thank you for seeing me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak outside of Instagram. And I just want to say that to me, you're a road opener. You feel me? For some people, the road is already paved. You have some people that they go through life and they just follow the road that already exists, right? But to me, you are a person that you have the machete in your mouth and you're going through the wilderness and you're cutting down the trees and you're laying the foundation for yourself. Like, it's kind of those things where you're just following your intuition. You know exactly where you're going, even though it may not feel like it. And as you pave that road for yourself and you open up that road for yourself, you open up that road for all of us to follow, giving us an example and allowing other people to come and be able to bear the fruits of your labor. You feel me, on your platform. So I just want to thank you for being a road opener, and seeing something in me.
I'm but a reflection of you, and I wore my unks and my all of my planets to represent all the goddesses and all the earths and all of the things that you represent, and just give it, just keep doing you and keep just being just amazing. I'm so honored, and just thank you so much. And somebody says yes, love that road opener. And yes, we will check out your favorite song, Energy Budget by Tony.
Yes.
Jones. We will definitely check that out. Because somebody was like, what's her favorite music? You might have missed that. She loves Tony Jones. So
Mm-hmm.
but that's it. And I want to thank you once again for just for being here. And shout out to your grandma.
Shout out to
And
grandma.
okay, all day. So thank you
Yes.
again and I just want to just wish you the best until next time.
Thank you, Lovewise. Thank you for having me, and thank you all for listening.
Well, that was mother of many, Brittney Mejia, and she is amazing. Is she not? I want to thank you all for listening. If you liked this message and you want somebody to make sure that they are on the right track when it comes to mental health, skin care, their education, the whole nine, send them the mother of many. She's really out here doing it, and I'm just giving thanks for her and all the work that she's doing to elevate, as you already heard, a nation. So my name is Venus Jones. Once again, make sure that you share, subscribe, and you can find me in all of the things that I do as a mindset coach and as someone who wants to help you with peak performance at venusjones.com. I want to thank you so much for watching. This is our second season of Soulful Journey, and for those of you who have been rocking with me for a long time, shout out to Yarel and Aisha, and Stephen Jones, and everybody else that's in the chat. If I don't see you, I give thanks for you. And until next time, I will leave you with this quote: keep looking up and keep looking out, because when you do, there is a lot less fear and there is a lot less doubt.